vinyl community, John here. This is a video. It's going to be a roundup of the records that I've collected for the second part of the year. When I was still in Sweden, just before midsummer, I did a roundup of the records that I collected in the first half of the year. So this is the next, I guess it'll be 2 videos in the series because I've got a fair old stack to go through. Well, spinning, the record that we're playing at the moment is a record that I picked up on a trip that I took to Finland. I went on a cruise. We had some friends from the States come over and stay with us, and we took them on a cruise ship that went from Stockholm to Helsinki. And while I was there, in a market square, they had sort of like a flea market thing going on, and I bought this record there. And this is Carlos Santana, and it's called Illuminations, and he's doing it together with somebody called Alice Coltrane, who turns out to be, I think, the wife of John Coltrane. And there's the inner sleeve. It's quite a nice inner sleeve. I didn't think much to it in the beginning. You know, sometimes these things take a while to grow on you, don't they? And listening to it now, I can see that I will probably get much more into this than what I thought I was going to. I hope it's not too loud. Okay, so early on in the second half of the year, I picked up this. This is Yosef Feliciano. I like his music. I really like his you know, simplistic style. I think he's most famous for doing a cover of The Doors, Light My Fire. This is all in Spanish. El Fantástico. This has got to be one of my favourite albums that I picked up this year, by Booker T and the MGs. The album is called Soul Limbo. Really, really good record. I can't, you know, I can't describe how much I enjoy this, really. Sadly, the cover you can see on the back here. I won't take it out of this plastic because it kind of holds the thing together. But whoever owned it before, sort of stuck it together with duct tape. You know, had a big strip of, you know, silver duct tape along the top, which I managed to prise off without showing too much of the cover. But the records, I mean, perfectly fine. And the cover holds itself together as long as you don't take it outside the vinyl casing bag. On stacks. I'd never heard of them before until a friend of mine was playing Booker T CD once at a party. I asked who it was and he said Booker T. I didn't know who that was, and I went home and looked them up and thought, well, yeah, it could be really interesting. And I stumbled across this and was overjoyed when I put it home, and it sounded great. Really good record. Jimi Hendrix with Curtis Knight. This is one of those early recordings that was made when Jimmy was basically a sort of a supporting artist, I think. Kind of interesting. Good to have. Blood and Chocolate, Elvis Costello, The Attractions. Now, Elvis Costello is, you know, quite an important artist. I've got pretty much most of his early records. And every year, this will make some of you laugh, every year I make a New Year's resolution to learn to appreciate Elvis Costello. I mean, yeah, everybody knows the big sort of more famous hits that he may have had, Allison and Watching the Detectives and Oliver's Army. But his work is, you know, it gets so much acclaim. And every time I try and immerse myself in Elvis Costello's work, it's a bit like, you know, how sometimes when you read a book and you realise your eyes have been scanning the pages, but you haven't taken in the story. It's like that. For some reason, when I put on Elvis Costello albums, I switch off. I don't mean to. You know, I really do want to kind of to be able to say I'm a big fan of Elvis Costello and the Attractions, but I don't know why. So this year again, I'll make that same New Year's resolution. Try to really get into Elvis Costello and the Attractions. This is a really nice little thing that I picked up. I'll pull it out here. Moogie Woogie, it's called. And it's a disc jockey copy. It says disc jockey copy not for sale. It's by somebody called the Zeke Band. And see that. It's on chess. Well, basically, it's sort of music performed on the Moog. It sounds very zippy and zappy. I don't really know how serious you're supposed to take it, but it's a really great shape, and I'm very happy to have it. So yeah, never seen it before. When I found it, I thought, yeah, gotta nab that one. So the last record I'll show you in this batch is this album, Rare Earth, in concert. I've never heard of these before, but I was with my father-in-law in an antique store, of all places, and they had some records for sale. And I pulled this up, and he said, "Oh, they're a great band." So I took his word for it. I bought it, and yeah, it's a great record, great band. Fortunately, they've got lots of other records which I'd be interested in getting hold of as well. Okay, so that's the last one of this batch. I'll show you the next lot in the next part 2 of this video. Thanks very much, thanks for watching.